Here we are. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of May. I can remember it because, my birthday was just, 3 days ago? And I'm still in mode. So, and why not? Right. So before we begin, I'd first of all like to say good morning to my spirit guide, Gregel, who is, as always, as you know, standing right by my side here. And I'm naming today only because I woke up this morning. Okay, let me explain. Let me explain how this happened, shall I woke up this morning and I'm thinking, I'm doing more media stuff, as many of you have seen. It's only been a couple of days, and I try not to think like the Thursday shows. We don't really have an agenda. I might have an idea here or there of some of the stuff that I'd like to talk about, but I always like to have Grey Eagle set the agenda, basically, because at some point during the show he's going to whisper something to me, or why don't we talk about this, or so on and so forth. So this is what was happening this morning. So this morning I was a little bit lazy. I read for an hour in bed. Wow, I mean that's I like it. That's something that I really like to do, because I am a big reader, all kinds of stuff actually. But anyway, so I'm sort of reading. I've been talking to Grey Eagle. We've been having conversations, and I'm thinking, maybe what should we talk about today, or what is needed? What do we need to do today? And anyway, so nothing came to me. Grey Eagle was just keeping quiet, because obviously he knows when the time comes, he's going to just put something in my ear and it's going to happen. So anyway, we get to the point where I'm sitting looking at the camera thinking, and no inspiration, and still no inspiration. And I'm thinking, well, isn't this going well this morning? So and normally I have plenty to say about plenty of topics. I'm not a shy person. I used to be so shy when I was younger, but that's a whole thing. And here I am thinking, and nothing is coming. Nothing coming until then Grey Eagle says to me, just remember, be kind to yourself, and bingo, and there it was. And so I switched on the camera and I'm thinking, there's no practice here. There's no thought behind it. It's just thoughts. There are no thoughts behind this, except that it reminds me that, thoughts are, so many of you have heard me say this before, thoughts are living things. Thoughts, each tiny thought that we have is like a little tiny pulse of energy that goes out there into the universe. Now, of course, I didn't have time to say all of this on my media blurb, because you have to be, it's got to be quick and snappy and all. Anyway, but I started thinking about this, and I was, thinking, we're all of us talking about the world today. We're all of us upset about it. There is so much anger. There's so much angst. There's so many people being, so mean. You see people in the news, and people are being mean, and that person. And to me, it doesn't matter whether you're for someone or against someone. It doesn't matter if you're for a project or against a project. You can be passionately for something, or you can be passionately against something. But no matter how passionate you are, is no excuse for meanness and for spite and for vitriol. And unfortunately, it's as if, sometimes I feel like the world is just gathered. It's like this, you know how this snowball, and you start to roll it, it's a little thing, and then as you gather it through the snow, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, or you get, what is it, a rolling stone gathers no moss, or whatever it is, but you can imagine this ball of stuff, and a lot of this stuff that we're gathering in the world today is everything about, when you think of meanness, when you think of spite, when you think of cruelty, when you think of people unkind to other people, or unkind even to themselves, when you see people getting so worked up that they're damaging themselves because they're so passionately, and not necessarily in a good, but they are so passionately against something, then the vitriol comes out, and you can sort of, as we've gone along over the last few years, it seems we've got this big giant ball of stuff that's out there, going out into our world and going out into the universe and affecting every one of us. And thoughts are, as I said, tiny little pulses of energy that go out there into the universe. And that means that any positive and good and happy or gentle or kind thoughts, whatever, all of the positives you can think of, they go out there into the universe. And if you think about a particular person or a particular situation, for instance, we're thinking of, the droughts that they're having in Arizona, if you think those things and trying to put good energy out there, that energy, those thoughts, those individual thoughts have to be positive. They have to create positive energy, and they have to create positive vibrations, because everything that is in this world of ours and in the ours has to do with vibration. So each little thought is a tiny pulse of vibration, a tiny pulse of energy that goes out there. And it occurred to me that we should have, as I'm doing this little video this morning, out it pops out of my mouth with thought. Let's have a thoughtful Thursday. Let's do thoughtful Thursday. But we have to be careful, because our thoughts, if they're positive and they're good and they're kind, and they don't have to necessarily be positive and good thoughts about other people or the situation that's out there in the universe or in this world of ours. We need to have thoughts about ourselves as well. We need to be kind. We need to be gentle with ourselves. And that all starts with how we think and how we are thinking. All of that energy that is going on, that we're creating. And, thinking about ourselves and loving ourselves and caring about ourselves is equally as important as loving, caring thoughts that go out to the universe. Conversely, and this is, I think, what is happening so much today, so we have to work hard at really trying to turn things around. Negative thoughts, mean, cruel thoughts, are creating that same energy. We are putting it out into the world. We're putting it out into the universe, but we're also putting it into our own selves. Thoughts are a little bit like, the boomerang, because this energy that we're putting out there with our thoughts, whether positive or negative, acts as a boomerang effect. It goes out into the universe. We've heard the saying, like attracts like. So like energy attracts good energy, hence the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger in a good way. Or negatively, conversely, that the ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger negatively. And this is what's happening. We are creating in this world of ours today. We're creating so much negativity. So I want to combat that with, let's do the positive stuff. Let's do the powerful and the positive stuff, because everything we think, tiny pulse of energy, a tiny pulse of vibration, like attracts like. So we can create, even if in our own environment, within the people we know and we love, or the people we send out to, although I think it goes further. I think it affects the universe. But even within our own environment and giving good thoughts to ourselves and caring thoughts to ourselves, amazing. We find our attitude becomes more positive. And the more our attitude becomes more positive, the more able we are to put out those good thoughts. And for all of those who are putting out those negative thoughts, if you were in the car with me yesterday, boy, it was easy to think negative thoughts because there were two crazy drivers, in, out, in, out, in, out. And talk about bullying, you know, one of the cars was pushing up against the other car. I mean, had they suddenly had to brake, there would have been a pileup without a doubt. You've got the bullies who, you know, they don't like the way somebody else is driving, or they want to be, they just are in a hurry and they want to move it along. So move out of my way, you know, let's think about you. Let's not think about the person in the next car who's maybe having a tough day and trying to focus, just driving at a reasonable pace. Let's think about me, and where I want to, and how I want to do things. And you see a lot of this, and I saw a lot of this yesterday, having had a fantastic day yesterday, coming off the beach and all that fabulous. Gregor said, yes, this is a good place. This is positive vibrations here. Great vibrations that we're getting off of this particular spot that we were in, where this wedding I'm going to on Friday will be. So thoughts, vibrations, tiny pulses of energy, vibrational energy goes out and makes a huge, huge difference. So I decided this morning, just off the cuff, why not? Let's just have a thoughtful, let's just do thoughtful Thursday. And can we be thoughtful and sort of every now and again, not every half hour to an hour, sort of take a little mini break and assess what you were thinking about or how attitude is today, or did I oh gosh, did I just say something mean there? I want us to have thoughtful and positive things, not just to our world, which is important to do, not just to the universe, of course, absorbs all of our energy and is affected by it, but also to ourselves as well. Can we be kind to ourselves? Can we be gentle with ourselves? So here is, you can talk about anything else, you can ask questions, whatever you want to do. At some point, I would like you, throughout this next hour, I'd like you to think about, you know, how, especially if you were, you know how they say, she got out of the bed the wrong side today, which means a bit of a mood, or she's not feeling happy with herself. And it happens to all of us. And, you know, when I get out of bed, I stand up, I've got to straighten my back. I've got to work my back to a point where I'm not twisted and bent as I walk into the kitchen. I have to wait and straighten it. But it always comes straight, always comes right. But times we're not happy either with other people or with ourselves or whatever it is. But we have to think positively. We have to think positive things, because if we send out positive and good energy, then it comes back to us like a boomerang, because it's our energy that we're expending. And our energy always comes to us. And we want it to come back to us in a very positive, in a very powerful way, rather than in a negative way. So if you can think today, especially as we're going through the show today, but for the rest of the day, wouldn't it be nice if it went into tomorrow and over into the weekend as well? I mean, let's work on building this big snowball of fabulous positive energy. But think about how your thoughts and your thought process affects you, affects the people around you, and affects them. You know, if you can say something nice, or if you can just smile at somebody when you're in the supermarket, just give them a little something, you know. nice blouse, or I love that tie, or whatever it is. Sending out positive, loving, caring, and gentle thoughts. Remember, Grey Eagle says your world needs gentleness. That's what we should aim for, at least for today. Chris, how are you doing? Are you still there?
I'm still here. Yes.
I've been talking. And before we forget, I'm going to shut up now and let everybody else talk. But just before that, I do want to mention we are still doing our whatever it is. Is it? I was going to say conscript, but that's not right. Is it our subscription program? We're still doing that. I'm going to try and make a little video sort of over this weekend and put it out to give you a little taste of what that might look like for you. So if you're still interested, reminding you of that. And Chris, can you remind us of the date of the event in June that we're doing?
Yeah, so you've got a keynote on Friday, June 13th at the Venice Community Center. You go on 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. And then you have a session on Saturday, the 14th of June from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. And how to find tickets for that?
I can put the link in the chat room.
Okay. So then go to the chat room. If you're in real doubt, email Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com and put in the subject line June event. And, you know, we can send you information that way, but we can put it in the on the website. You know, come and join us. I'll be giving, if Grey Eagle sees fit, which I don't think I've ever not given messages when I've been out and about, if it's only going out for lunch somewhere, if the opportunity arises, we get messages from the spirit world. So we'll be doing some of that and talking about spirituality, and you'll get an opportunity to sort of, I think we're going to, on Saturday, we're going to have pizza. We're all going to sit in the afternoon or early evening. We're going to have pizza, and those of you who decide to stay and eat pizza with me, also I care for pizza too much, but I'm happy to eat it once in a while. So, you know, we can get together, we can have a fun pizza eating, not a pizza eating contest. I can only manage one slice at a time of pizza. But anyway, we'll be doing all of that. So if you want to know more about that, you're unsure, go to the website or email us, rosemary@rosemary.com, and put in the subject line, you know, whatever it is that you want to know more about the subscription program, or whether it's about the event that we're doing in June, or anything at all. Great.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of people on, and luckily we have comments in the chat room.
Woo-hoo!
Tammy started off with, "Love that thoughtful Thursday." She says, "I am pretty sure intuitively that I have peripheral neuropathy the last 2 years, but unfortunately, my doctor continues to dismiss me. Just wondering if Grey Eagle can confirm or not. Much love."
I don't actually think that it's quite what you think it is. I'm checking with Grey Eagle. Yes, I'm right about that. However, it might be time to get a second opinion, because if you're not sure, you know, and you think something's going on, you know, he can maybe look through his little machines and things and see what is, you know, and often people see, they're just looking for a certain thing, so they're only able to see what they're looking for. And so getting a second opinion is always a good idea, because after all, they are, you know, this is your body, your eyes. You know what's going on with you better than anyone. And I'm firmly of the opinion, I tell people all the time, you have to, especially, you know, with medical things, with legal things, whatever it is, you have to be your advocate. You are in charge of you. That's the most important thing. So, this is where you need to go for that. So I would suggest a second opinion is in order. Chris.
Albertine says, hello, Rosemary and Grey Eagle. It's nice to see you.
Hi.
Question. My father passed away in 2020. I have many
Right.
dreams of him. Does he want to say something? I miss him. Thank you.
We're going to be talking about dreams at some point, and certainly with our program, we're going to be talking about dreams and why and what and how these things happen. How do people in the spirit, how can they manage to connect with us? But I think that if we're talking about dreaming of him, but I think this is a reality. I'm sure that you think so. I think that that he visits you. I don't know that he wants to say anything particular. I think it's important to him that you know that he's there with you. Just his way of sort of a little bit like the security blanket. Don't worry, I'm not anywhere. I'm still here and I'm still with you, which is wonderful. Chris.
Cheryl has two things. She wants to know how your wrist and thumb are, and then she has a question.
We don't want to talk about my wrist and thumb, do we really? It's about the same. My thumb sticks out weirdly. I don't know. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, it is what it is. I struggle to play the piano. A lot of things. Opening cans is blah, 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 blah. We can about it. It is what it is. I decided, rightly or not, my physiotherapist, who is brilliant, is totally against my decision. Because I get older, I'm going to, it's going to be even more painful. But, you live with it. So many things that are worse in this world. And the fact that I can't play the piano like I used to, it's okay with me. I mean, I would love to sit and play with Reese, of course I would. But it's okay with me because I've got him and he's way, way better these days than I am. So, so I do have that music in my life. Thank you, though, very much for asking. It's a pain in the butt. There are certain things I can't do with it, and I'm not going to go there and tell you what they are because it's quite private. So I can't, use it. It's just anyway. There it is. At least I still have my hand. Look, I can wear a ring on my finger, so that's good. It just really, really hurts when I try it. So, but I have to force myself to do it. I'm not talking about my anymore. What's the question? Cheryl, thank you so much for your concern and all those loving thoughts. What's your question?
The question is, why do souls choose to pass in tragedies like mass shootings, fires, car accidents, and so on?
I don't know that they choose to pass in that way. I mean, I think, that when it's your time, and whether you like it or not, God's going to haul you out of a situation, whatever it is, even if it's sort of, going to bed and passing it, which I actually really don't want to happen to me, only because I just, I talk to Greg. I talk to Greg about this sometimes. I'll say, can I just have? I don't want to be sick for years and be in pain and agony, but at the same time, I would like to have enough time to just be able to say goodbye to Reese and Samantha and of course all of my friends, but mostly to Reese and Samantha. I'd like to be able to just have those moments because I want it always, don't I? I don't think that people choose necessarily to die in traumatic or tragic circumstances. I think it's simply it's their time, and they, you know, they're, people might say they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I would say they were in exactly the right place at the right time, because, you know, once we're gone, I don't think we necessarily, you know, feel, a lot of people will tell me, you know, even if they're sort of running through a burning fire, and but they don't talk about, you know, when I speak to them, once they have passed to the other side, they don't necessarily talk about the pain and the difficulty of the body, and, you know, and all of that. They are much more inclined to talk about how amazing it was, what their journey was like, and the people that they see. So I'm not sure it's particularly a choice. Chris.
Gwen would like to know, do you see me ever living in Florida?
Well, Gwen, do you see yourself having that positivity and that drive to get on and do it? You know, there are in life, okay, that in life, not everything is sort of, well, maybe this is a bigger conversation now. I've got myself into trouble. I'm in a bigger conversation. But what I'm going to say is, you know, that there are so many things that we make choices about, and it's all about our attitude. And, you know, we've been talking about positivity. Putting out your thoughts out into the universe, if that's what you want to do, then put it out there. And don't just put it out there every now and again when you think about it. Put it daily. You know, put out those thoughts. You know, send your thoughts into, if you've got a particular area in Florida that you have in mind, your thoughts, and just, you know, this is where I'd love to be. Drive yourself. We also, there's a great exercise that I tell my students to do. Again, we're going to be doing these things. Our subscription program, I'm going to be teaching you how to do, you know, certain things. But our, you know, we have a board which I suggest people write out their wishes, their hopes, their dreams, and so on. And unfortunately, we have to talk about. We don't have time to talk about that today. But just, you know, making positive efforts, making positive thoughts. Start checking out, you know, how you need to, where you'd like to live. Start looking at properties or places that you would like to live. It's your choice at the end of the day. There are many things in our lives that are presented to us that, and very often, you know, we're presented these ideas many times over before the light bulb goes on, and we think, oh yeah, yeah, I've had that thought before. I should have done that before. Excuse me. Because remember, thoughts, they're not only our thoughts, but we also are receiving thoughts from our love in the spirit world. So listen, pay attention, raising your level of consciousness and connecting with the spirit world. Another lesson we'll be doing. Raising our level of consciousness is so important, so we can be in tune, not just with our loved ones in the spirit world, but be in tune on a vibrational level, and we can also be in tune on a level which can inspire us, guided to get whatever it is that we want. Thoughts, our thoughts are the most powerful thing we have, but the thoughts of those in the spirit also come into our mind. They also are there. We also, if you're paying attention, are so powerful. Those thoughts are so powerful because they can help us, and they can drive us, and they can inspire us to keep moving forward. I like that question, actually. Chris.
All right, this one's from Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
I just got back from a healing center. I'm having urges to go out, but I just shake my head. Hopefully, I can stay on the wagon. At treatment, I read your book and kept being gentle with myself and others. Miigwech for your books and wisdom on here. Happy to see you again to see.
Well, you know that we can send you healing, so we can easily add you to our list. We have a number of people we send healing out to. And, we're doing on one of my little media things. I'm sure a few times we're going to be doing it, because we're not. I think we should have our healing minutes, don't you? You can do those with me if you're checking out my media. You can tune in with me that way, and hopefully, get some really good inspirational advice and help. And also, hopefully I'll give you things to work on, which will also help you. But my love to you, my darling, and I am rooting for you. Chris.
Brandy says, hello, Rosemary from Connecticut.
Hi,
I would
Brandy.
love to know something good with the struggles in my life, especially with family and work. I need to know when I will be surrounded by good friends of like mind, specifically around my healing modalities.
Okay, I'm going to give you tough love. Tough love, Brandy. Okay. Sometimes, and this applies to you, which I think it might, you might want to pay attention. But it's really hard to do. Sometimes we just have to say no. 2 little words. No, no. But we don't only have to say it, we have to mean it. We have to think about who the people are in our lives and the kind of energy that we have. And back to it. Thoughts are living things. Our energy, the way we're feeling, the thoughts that we're having all contribute to who and what we are. And if you have negativity in your life, I think this is what's happening to you, and this is why you're struggling so much, is because you're allowing other people to control your life. Let's not be too kind. I mean, kindness is great, but when it causes destruction, no, that's not kindness. That's being a bit of a softie or a little bit stupid with your own self and your own, because you have to heal yourself. You want to be a healer. I know you're a healer, but you have to heal yourself first. So all of those negative people in your lives, and we can look at family, and others have wonderful family and some have wonderful family, but there's always one in that mix that isn't quite as wonderful. Or we have negativity in our lives from neighbors, from family, from work, wherever it comes from. You can't expect other people to change. Don't do it, because they won't. Because as long as you say yes, or as long as you say no, but then turn it into a yes. In other words, for as long as you allow other people to manipulate you, it's not going to be any different. And people can only do what you allow them to do. I want you to think about that. Say that to you again. People can only do to you what you allow them to do. So sometimes, it's a little bit of tough love here. Sometimes you have to take a look at your environment. Imagine that you're an orchid, because I had beautiful orchids for my birthday, so they come to mind. And imagine you're an orchid, and you're wanting it to flower. Imagine you've got beautiful bloom, these beautiful flowers, but you stick them in the dark, or the sunlight that's far too harsh for them. If you put a flower in an environment, it is going to wither, it is going to rot, it is going to not produce the light and the beauty that could produce. So I want you to think of yourself as a flower, and you need to put yourself in the right environment, and you need to get rid of that. They won't leave unless you're the one, you're the garden. You need to prune, you need to clip out, you need to get rid of all the the rotting or the aphids that are all over the plant, those clingy, nasty little things eat the plants away. People will cling and people will eat away your energy if you allow it. So you don't expect other people to do this for you, because it won't happen. And if you keep putting up with this environment, if you keep putting up with negative people, if you keep allowing them into your life, what you're going to get is you're going to get a life which is not going to bloom in the way that you want it to bloom. This is not just for you, Brenda. This is for everybody here. We have to put ourselves in an environment which is positive and good. And sometimes, unfortunately, that means cutting out the dead wood. No, and mean it. Or don't say no at all. Be a doormat, or don't be a doormat. You know, you can really stop the negativity of other people simply by either not, moving them out of your life, moving away from them, taking more positivity with your own life, and be a bloom, for goodness sake. Be a bloom. Stop allowing other people to dictate your life. Stop allowing other people to bring Thoughtful Thursday. Thoughts are living things. Your thoughts matter. They matter the most. But if other people's thoughts and other people's negative energy to overwhelm you, to shroud you, to stop you from being your own self, don't blame anybody else. Don't say, oh well, she does this and well that. Don't do that. No. Don't do that. You are your own responsibility. So you either deal with people kindly and say, please don't speak to me that way because I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Or you move, you get out. If you don't like your job, get another one. I know it sounds simple, but you've got to be your own advocate here. You're your own person. And you've got to say no, and mean it when people who are surrounding you with their wants and negativity are sucking you dry. So you've only got to blame. People can only do to you, and I say that with love. People can only do to you what you allow them to do. So stop it. I hope you do that, Brandy. I do, because I think you're lovely. Chris.
Mark is saying, good morning. Did Gray Eagle pass from natural causes, and how soon did he become a spirit guide? Was he a spirit guide immediately?
Oh, and Mark, and you know that I love you, but I don't know how much time we've got left, Chris, but certainly not enough time for this. And Greg was laughing, we really appreciate that you're interested. And at some point, when we have longer sessions, when we do the subscriptions, maybe we'll even talk about, how become spirit guides, and what does it mean to be a spirit guide, and so on and so forth. We can have conversations in those hour sessions that we're going to be doing, or half-hour sessions, however long. But today, and I love you, but we're not going there. It's far too complicated. I love the question, Chris.
All right, I'm going to read a bunch of thank yous from the messages you've given out this morning while we wait for people to continue typing questions into the chat room.
Okay, go for it.
So Chloe saying hello. She's from England.
No, I know, my darling Chloe. I love you. Go ahead.
Tammy, who you gave the first message to, says, I'm not the doctor I think I am, with a smiley face. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Albertine says, thank you. That makes a good thought, a feeling, good vibrations, and love.
See that? Thoughtful Thursday. Good thoughts, vibrations.
Gwen says, thank you. Actually had the great pleasure to see you in person twice, and I have your book autographed.
Wow. And where did you see me and when and how long ago? And I want those things, Chris.
Leslie says, the fire is contained here in Apache County. Thank you for all the prayers.
Oh, trust me, I've been working on it. I mean, Arizona is one of my favorite places in the world. Favorite. Of course, that was where Gray Eagle was born and lived his life with his people. So you know, it's you know, a place which is very fond in my heart. So as soon as I was asked to do something, all the energy and all the vibrations went right there. So I'm so pleased that it's getting better. I really am. I'll keep me informed, Chris.
Brandy says you are spot on. That's what I'm doing. I'm saying no. So thank you. You were my mom's favorite, and I still have her copy of your book since she passed. You are actually
Aww.
picking up on my sister. Controlling. I used to people please no more in recent years.
I almost said your sister, and then I thought, no, not going to go there. Too personal. But listen, Brandy, I love it. No, but I'm reminding you again, people can only do to you what you allow them to do. And when you say no, it's easy to say no. And then we find ourselves being worn down and worn, and suddenly the no becomes weaker, and then we find ourselves doing something we don't want to do. So no means no. Okay. I'll say to my grandson, or I'll say to my daughter, what is it about the word no you don't understand? And then they know I really mean it. Keep going.
Sage says, sorry I had to leave last week for an appointment before I could say thank you for your suggestions on how to help my friend who lost her daughter. They were very helpful.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's great. And any other suggestions you want about anything at all? I'm doing my best with my orchids, but I'm not sure. Two little kids, two little baby orchids. Anyway, no more talk about orchids, but there are certain things that I'm always loath to call myself an expert in anything, because I always think that no matter, there's always something just a little bit more than you, but there are certain things that I am much more expert in than other things. Let me put it that way. So, we can help you with, just let us know.
Well, she
Chris.
continued saying, if I am interested in a private session with you, how long should I wait if someone just passed only 4 weeks ago? Is there a timeline, or how does the soul decide to come and talk to you?
Okay. Well, first you call them souls, and I call them people. So let's get that cleared up. I don't consider. I mean, all of us souls. Every one of us on this earth is a soul. We are all things having this human experience, and my little add-on, hopefully in a spiritual way. So we're all souls. But what about? I know what you mean. We're talking about souls in this world, or a person, or people who are in the spirit world, because when I talk to them, I see them and I talk to them and chat with them, and well, to me that's all I can tell you. So how long wait? But you have to, there's no timeline. There are people who will tell you, there are some people who will say that they speak to the spirit world, and maybe they do and maybe they don't, and they'll say, well, you can't do it for a year, you've got a year, or yes, stop it. And or there are people who, who say, oh, you got to give it 6 months when you feel like it. And I'm all feeling whoever this is you're wanting to talk to is tapping me on the shoulder. So let me just say, anytime you feel like it, and there are no guarantees anyway, but what happens, this is what I do, okay? Someone comes to me for a consultation. I always say at the very beginning, there are no guarantees. Sometimes it works, and mostly it works, actually, thank goodness. But occasionally, there might be a little difficulty. It won't have anything to do with the amount of time that they have passed, that's for sure, because people can come immediately from the spirit world and tap you on the shoulder. I've had it happen to me so many times. And I think that, many people out there, many of you have perhaps lost someone, and the next day that there they are, or you in your sleep, or, you dream of them, or they come visit you in your dreams, whatever. So I don't think it's a matter of how long do you have to wait, because, I think the struggles that people in this world might have are if something is particularly emotional to them for whatever reason, or they might struggle a little bit emotions. But I'm a patient person, and I have Grey Eagle who is helping them as well as helping me with the process. So I think that, whenever you feel like it, if it's tomorrow, or it won't be tomorrow, I can tell you, but you know what I'm saying, there's no time limit. You don't have to wait. The fallacy of, it's going to take a while, they've got to get used to the spirit world, it is a fallacy. It is not true at all. And when somebody in the spirit world wants to talk to you, that's the time. And if you want to talk to them, go for it. You have to give them the opportunity. There are so many people in the spirit world who are thinking, why have I have to wait so long to talk to them? Why did they wait that long to talk to me? And so they're as impatient to talk to you as to talk to them. And so we just see, and if for any reason it does not work, I tell people, if for any reason this does not work, and I always say to my satisfaction, because my expectations far beyond yours, because I know what can be done and how it can be done, then we just rebook, and I won't charge you again. And if we have to try a third time, then that's what we do. And if we have to try a fourth time, that's what we will not charge you after the first time. And so, you just need to be very patient. If it doesn't work, we'll try it again the next time, and until the point where they just don't want to talk. Maybe it's me. Find somebody else. They just don't like me. But I think I'm done. Chris.
Kathy says, good morning.
Morning, Kathy.
What are your thoughts on twin flames? Is my recently passed husband mine? The grief is unbearable.
I would never put it as twin flames. I've never heard that expression before. So are you talking about twin souls, or are you talking about your soulmate? Which, certainly I think applies in this case. And I wish I saw it more. I wish I saw soulmates connecting and go of it more. But I do believe that we all do have a soulmate, maybe more than one soulmate. I believe that we have soulmates, we have playmates, we have workmates, we have those people that we're meant to meet, who we either can work with really well, or we can have fun with, really get well together. You know how sometimes you meet someone and it's just a joining, a vibrational energy, a energy that just connects us together. And let me just say, darling, my heart goes out to you, because it would seem to me from what you said, and also Grey Eagle is definitely stroking my, because, you know, we are obviously twins here. So I think my heart goes out to you because I think you're exactly right. I think your husband is your soulmate. You will never get over this and being with you, but you will learn to live with it. And I want you to understand, because he is your soulmate, he will never be far away from you. And when your turn to go, not that quickly, but when it is your turn, he'll be there and he'll be waiting for you. In the meantime, you know, what I'm going to suggest you do is to, as difficult as it is, painful as it is, to lose someone in this, you know, in this way, lose your soulmate in this way, as difficult and as painful as it is, I want you to remember that you will him again, definitely. He will be in your life, and somebody here is saying on a daily basis, so he will be in your life on a daily basis, so you need to learn to pay attention, you know, listen to those thoughts inside of your head, because he will be that person who guides you and steers you as he was in this life. You know, a very quiet man in so many ways until he had something to say, and then he said it, and then you paid attention apparently. So that's great. So you haven't lost. So as you're dealing with this, just try and keep in mind that he is with you every day. He kisses you. Apparently, I'm told he kisses you goodnight every night before you go to bed. And yes, he does see the tears on his pillow. So I don't know quite what he means by that, but he sees your tears on his pillow, and that he loves you so much. You have not lost him.
Cheryl says, I miss my kitty who passed in February. Does he come to visit? I haven't felt him around.
Cheryl, you know perfectly, why are you asking me these questions? You know perfectly well that he comes to visit you. And I think that, you know, sometimes, and especially in our grief, and I'm, you know, thinking about, you know, the lovely lady a minute ago, sometimes in our grief, it's almost as if we're sort of, you know, this shroud comes over and this grief overtakes us, and we don't see or hear or sense as clear as we might. But I promise you, you will glimpse him soon, and he'll let you know that he's still around you. Chris.
Jennifer says, I've had 3 deaths in my family recently. My aunt in March, her husband in April, and her granddaughter in May. It's been rough on my family. Are there any messages?
Oh, yes. Well, I would, as I say, unfortunately, just give me a minute. I was going to say, unfortunately, we don't have time. I've no idea what time we have left, but I'm seeing a young woman here who was quite sick before she passed, and as you're talking to me, she's waving at me. Sorry, no, I'm wrong. She's waving at you, and would just like to tell you, I'm okay. Okay. She's something about her. I'm not quite sure about this. I wish we had more time, but something about it. Am I right? Something about her head. I'm not quite sure what that's about, but anyway, so I don't know what to do. I hope that helps you. Let me know if I've confused you. Let me know. If you understand me, let me know. I'm sorry it's so quick and so brief, but I want you to know that they are all with you and all okay.
Bonnie says, hello, Rosemary. My sister passed 2 years ago. It was 3 days after my husband. I just wanted to know if she's close by or has any messages for me. I miss her so much. She was like a second mother to me.
Excuse me, I'm not hearing from your sister, but I am hearing from Grey Eagle. Yes, yes, and yes, she's right there with you. Unfortunately, you know, on Thursdays we have only an hour-long show, and we have so little time to do this. But I'm my Grey Eagle that she is with you, and she's laughing at the. I'm hearing her laughing. She's laughing at the comment, like a mother to me, because I feel that you were. I'm not quite sure how you can be more than mother and daughter, because I have a daughter. How can you be more than mother and daughter? But apparently you like this. So this is what and I can hear her laughing and blowing you kisses. So I'm sorry, it's such a brief message, but I do hope it helps. Keep going, Chris.
Kathy says, thank you. I cry on his pillow every night.
Aha, there you go. Sees I couldn't figure it out. He sees your tears on his pillow, and well, there you are. So remember, he said he kisses you every. Okay, Chris.
Lorraine says, if we had a few close relationships in our life, marriages and love relationships, will we all gather together and continue our connections without any feelings of rejections from the ending of some of them? Are we forgiven for pain we may have caused?
Oh, good gracious me. What a question. That would take so much time to deal with, but let's put it this way. You know, some let me see. I've had people come to me for consultations. They've had a couple of husbands, and some occasionally 3 husbands, and I've seen them all together and getting really well together. And I'm sure that when that person passes, she's going to be with them, and they're going to have a great time. But I've had the opposite. I've had people who might have come to give a message, but I don't know how to put this, but they give a message because it's necessary or it's needed, or they want to reassure someone, there's no hard feelings or whatever it is, but you know that is the connection, or the briefest connection, and so people often decide to move on. As far as forgiveness is concerned, well, first of all, I don't believe in forgiveness. Did I just say that to all of you? True, because I don't believe in forgiveness. I believe in I think that none of us is truly qualified to forgive, because we don't quite know the entire circumstance situation, and before we can know the exact details, how somebody else is feeling, how somebody else is thinking, what caused somebody to do this, or what caused this to happen or that happen. We don't know. We are human. We don't know all of the details, and I'd rather accept a person, all their faults and failings, and in a non-judgmental way, accept, that they did what they did, give people the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, I'm sure that however, whatever went down, I'm sure they did not mean to hurt, and if they did, that's too bad for them, because we have to feel sad for people who are deliberately hurting other people. But I think just simply accepting that this is a way of life, and that the people who hurt us, we just have to accept that. I always, if people want to cut me out of their life, too bad for you, because you're missing out. Because I'm not a good person to know. So too bad for you. But I also have to accept it's their decision, and they have every right to make it. And I don't know, I can't judge. And because I can't judge, I can't forgive you unless I judge you. I'm going to judge you. I'm simply going to accept you for who you are and move forward. So getting together, yeah, sometimes yes and sometimes no. Okay, Chris.
This one is from Sage, I believe it is, again. Hold on, everybody's just adding questions at the last minute here, and it just went through. And I don't know where it went.
It's fine. Just do what you can do.
Well, Brandy just said, thank you. Finally, a confirmation to me about forgiveness or not. And then she says, my Nana still has disdain for my grandfather spirit side. No forgiveness for her.
Oh dear. Oh well.
Albertine is giving you belated happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Serena, oh great, she's from LinkedIn. We don't get too many people to actually respond from LinkedIn. Does Gray Eagle see my dear ones who have passed away close to me?
Of course. You know, this show that we do every Thursday morning is called The Spirit World Sees All, and they do. So I think that not only does Grey Eagle see your loved ones in the spirit world, I think that they see you too, and and of course they all see each other. So yes, of course, joining us.
Sage was reminding you, the little girl that just passed, Emery, you spoke to her last week with a message. Her family is just devastated, and I am wondering if they should talk with you.
Well, of course, I would say yes, but let me. How can I put this? Okay, I think that everybody has to make their own decisions. And I don't know, and I don't know if you know, but I certainly don't know how they would feel about doing that. That you could, maybe talk to them about, you might want to show them a little video or two, introduce them to who I am and what I believe in. Maybe they would like to read my first book, The Eagle and the Rose, because it tells the story that would, I think, would really help them. But then let them make up their own mind. They'd have to obviously call the office and book an appointment. But we do take appointments, and I would say to anyone out there, if you are trying to connect with someone in the spirit world, the most important thing is to find a good medium, and they are not so, let's say there are few on the ground, let's say. Find someone who's good and someone who you can trust, and then, because there are some great mediums out there. You just have to really don't be afraid to be critical, and don't be afraid to be skeptical. I'm the most skeptical person that you could ever wish to meet. When somebody says to me, I'm a medium, my immediate thought is, the thoughts are living things, and my immediate thought is, well, are you? Because my idea of a medium and my standards of mediumship are very different from many other people's. So they need to find a good medium. I think that, anyone who's lost anybody at all would from good mediumship, and of course from my own experience, would definitely benefit. It has to be somebody good. So, I suggest, talk to them about it, and say, and she takes consultations, if you want to say that, sort of, and put the ball in their court. Don't push it, don't pressurize. It's their choice.
So you are over the hour, Rosemary, but Dean wanted to say hi. He says he's still alive after the kidney and prostate surgery and glad to still be kicking.
I hope you messaged Dean. and well, of course, there's nothing worse than kidney pain. And I, as a mother, and having had an awful labour, when I say awful pain, I mean excruciatingly painful. I can tell you that kidney pain is far worse. I know some of you mothers out there listening to me thinking, oh, you can't have had it that bad then in labour, but me. Anyway, but I'm glad, Dean, that you're back in the saddle again, and that you're doing so well. And I hope you got my message, because I am sending you lots and lots of. Okay, Chris, are we done?
Yes.
That's it then. Well, gosh, where did that hour go? Well, thanks everyone. Remember, we have our event in June. If you want to buy tickets for the event, you have to either email Chris or Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, or website, whatever however you want to do that. What's the date again, Chris, for that?
June 13th.
Okay, and we are, I promise you, we're working on the subscription thing. I'm going to try and do a little video that we're going to put out so you can see what you're getting if you want to subscribe to, because you can see how this show is an hour and we have so many people. But what we're trying to do with the subscriptions is to focus on a subject at a time and allow people to, get used to that, and then have a thorough once a month, everybody get together and have questions, and and have a time where we can really sort of answer questions, and so I'll be trying to do that as well. Keep watching my media. There's I put some on YouTube this morning about thoughts being living things. Remember, it's Thoughtful Thursday. just popped into my head. Thoughtful Thursday. Anyway, and also I think there are a couple of things on Instagram and Facebook if you're interested in going that route. And just thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for joining us. First of all, before I say anything else, I'd like to thank Great Eagle for his input. Isn't he amazing? He's just amazing. And yes, and this again, stroking my neck here, reminding me that we are together and doing this together. Not that I would ever forget. I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to thank Chris, doing a great job as a facilitator, Chris. Thank you to all of you listening. We should be back next Thursday for another the Spirit World season. Excuse me. We'll be there on Friday the 30th, so that's not tomorrow, but the following Friday I'll be with cracking up with my friend Kay. We'll be doing another cracking up. I can't believe we're suddenly coming to the end of May. How did that happen? I'm still, girl, I'm going to a wedding on the beach. For those of you who didn't see the YouTube little video, yes, I'm going to a wedding in the morning, and I might just, you never know, I might just be putting up one things there. But think about me. I'll be on the beach going to a wedding representing my lovely friend Susan. Her daughter's getting married, and we're going to be having such a great time. But today, thank you for joining me. In the meantime, remember, it's Thoughtful Thursday. Thoughts are living things. Keep that in mind, everybody, and be thoughtful today, not just with everybody else and not just with the world in general, but all the universe. Be thoughtful with yourself. Be gentle, be kind, be loving to all, including you. In the meantime, once again, thanks for, please everybody, have a very, very blessed rest of the day, and have a very blessed weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.